Hello, welcome to this demo of error handling strategy in jBPM and Red Hat Process Automation Manager. So the error handling strategy is an embedded capability of the engine that enables the engine to handle an exception when it comes out from a process and manage the exception cases inside another process. So it's a responsibility of the work item handler that manages that specific error to raise a special kind of exception that engage the error handling. So let's see this really simple case. Here's the main process, and the main process has a REST call. So this REST call is going to check an external service to get some information. This REST call was designed, was configured in this project to fail. So it's going to look for an endpoint that does not exist. And here we have defined a custom entry here that is how many times we want to retry this this call, 5 times. At runtime, this REST call will fail, and we will see how to manage this exception that happens inside the REST call. Again, the REST call is basically when it will fail, it will raise an exception, a special kind of exception that is handled by the error strategy. Let's see how to configure the REST work item handler to handle this exception. Here in settings, into the deployment, and inside the work item handler, we have the configuration of the REST work item handler. So specifically, we add two information to the REST work item handler. One is the process instance that we want to trigger when the exception happens, and in this case, the process ID is error handling. So we have inside the project a process that we call error handling that is going to manage the exception when it happens. Then we define the kind of exception that we want to use at least at the first round. And we are going to use the retry strategy. So what happens? As the exception is triggered inside the main process we recognize the exception handling and it will call the error handling process to handle this exception. Let's see the error handling process. So here you see that when it triggers the error handling here, it will decrease the number of retry that initially is configured to 5 inside the specific REST endpoint. Then it waits for 2 seconds and close this process instance, going back on the main process instance, retrying to execute the work item handler that failed, in this case, the REST call. So we will have this behavior that for 5 times, it will simply wait 2 seconds in the middle, and then it will trigger again the REST call. When it reaches the final the final number of retry, and this is defined the inside uh, the the retry condition here. So when retry is equal to 0, we are going to handle the exception with a human task. So basically, we raise a human task for a user that will decide how to proceed with this error and what to do on the main process. In this case, we have modeled two options. The user can retry again, or he can decide to complete the activity and to provide the result instead of the um, uh, in place of the originating work item handler. This is a really powerful mechanism because you can fix the erroneous execution and and with a specific outcome. But let's see how it works at runtime. Maybe it's easier to understand. So let's deploy uh, this process, this project. Let's switch on the process definition. And here what we're going to do is starting the main process. Close this pop-up. Okay, no more information, so just kick off the process. Okay, so now we can follow the execution of the process. You see that the process is stopped to this REST call. What happens is that the REST call is already failed as it started, and we can see that a subprocess is triggered to handle this exception. But what we expect, and we see if we refresh the process instance, that this error is tried 5 times. And what we see here is that we have 5 sub-process error handling that is triggered because every time it tries again, it tries again. This is just for 5 times. In fact, we have here 5 instances of the sub-process error handling. Let's see the latest error handling sub-process. So here we see that now the number of retry is finished in the error handling, and we triggered the error handling human task. Let's see what we can do in this human task. Okay, this is the error handling human task. We can claim this task as any other task. Now we can do two things. So basically, we can fix the URL of the REST call. So let's say that we want to fix it. We recognize, oh, this is a wrong endpoint. So let's try again the REST call using the proper URL, so the 8080 endpoint. And let's ask, so now we can trigger the complete strategy. And let's complete the human task. So what we have now is that check the result human task is triggered. This check the result human task is not triggered by the error handling, but by the main process. So coming back to the process instances, you can see that the instance that on the main process instance that initially was failing did another try on the REST call, but this time the REST execution went went well. It was successfully executed. So we have the completion of the process that go in a new human task where we can check the result of the REST call. And just for sake of completeness, let's see the check result human task. Start and complete. So far, so good. Now let's trigger again the main process. No result. Again, the REST call is going to fail, and when we refresh, you can see that we did 5 attempts to call the REST execution. And now, again, we have in the error handling process that raise a human task for managing the error. Now, for the user, let's say that the user don't want to retry. He just want to oh, sorry. At the previous step, I flagged complete instead of retry. So this time, let's retry the call using the the correct endpoint. Complete and sorry, complete, and we have checked the result. And here you can see the result of the request. Let's do it again because previously we showcased the wrong path. So launch again the main process. Check. So we have here 3 attempts and now 5 attempts. So now let's manage the error handling. Let's select the complete strategy. In the complete strategy, what we can do is we can define the result here. So we can, instead of fixing the URL and try again, what we can do is complete the task, and at this point we can provide the result that was expected by that task from that REST call. Let's say that we want to um, fit here as a result. Okay, all manually, it's manually completed. So now we have in the main process the check result task, and we can see that we got back the result from the error handling human task. So that's all about the error handling strategy. Hope that you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching.